What's up, guys? Wanted to share with you guys a brand new promo code. So if I was to go here to the news, go to the rewards section and input Zach8. This is going to be for brand new accounts. So if you have a brand new account, it's going to be like Zach22 for those who have seen my promo codes in the past. But this is going to be a kickoff feature for the brand new tournament. And once you enter this code, we're just going to simulate the chest for you so you can see what it looks like. It's going to have the 200 cash. It's going to have the coin bonus. It's going to have the clubs, free clubs just for signing up for the game and starting to play. So it's a really cool thing that they're doing for their customers here, is to be able to, give you balls, give you clubs, give you, and now newly added pins and practice pins into the So here, if you see me analyzing this chest, 20 items in here for free, 12 balls, 12 pins, brand new pins, and 9 practice tokens as well. So quite a very good code for you guys to see when you guys utilize that. So do take advantage of this promo code offer. And share with your friends as well. So if they are starting brand new accounts, it's for brand new accounts only, but you'll be able to use that promo code and get some cool stuff just for playing. What's up, everyone? Here we are back for another tutorial here. This is the UG Showdown, brand new tournament format where the wins are going to be this direction for your qualifier, your semifinal, and your final round. So always going to be pointed in the same directions. Now, that means that this wind is pointed roughly 130. When you guys go to play yours, it's also going to be pointed roughly at 130. So it's always going to be in that direction for you. Going to make it easier to start, learning the game a little bit easier. And just kind of be able to use these guides as kind of your crutch. So, if you are looking for a little bit of extra assistance, do subscribe, do check out my other tutorials. I'm doing one for rookie and one for pro. The hopes is rookie is close enough to vet, and pro is close enough to vet. Keep in mind, all the divisions are going to have the same wind. So it's going to be very, very similar for you guys. Whether you're in Vet Pro or Tour Pro, it's just going to kind of change your wind maybe 1 extra mile per hour, that type of thing, where it's, very similar guide. Also, we're kind of using like a divide and conquer technique. I'm doing some rookie and some pro. And I've been talking to Duff about, it, and he's doing some Tour Pro. So if you guys haven't checked out Duff yet, he's doing some great things. You can see his channel posted in the link here. So go to the description, and you can also see his take on Tour Pro. So it should be nice to be able to see different perspectives and just kind of see different shots being hit. And the goal is to just get everybody, on the same page and being able to win, regardless of what division that they play on. So it's kind of, that's the purpose of these guides. So hopefully they're useful for you. And like I said, you're going to have the same wins. So all we're trying to do is get this down here as far as possible. And we are going to just pop out here real quick. I can go back to, get it from here. And we're going to go hive, I guess. Hive 8, hive 6. Oh, it looks like I'm on hip anyway. Let's see what hip looks like. Max span here. Let's see how close this is to this. I'd say that's pretty good. Maybe 1% off, 2%. Close enough. Just going to utilize this, get you guys squared away. And if you guys need to fine tune, that's fine as well. So we're going to keep this ball guide short. I expect it to stretch out, especially on an 8 wind. So if I utilize this as my starting point, let's just see what it looks like. Pop out here. This is saying I don't have a 10. I don't know why I have that bag set up like that. We'll go in, we'll make the change. And let's just size this up. See what it looks like. How many percent do you guys think? It felt like maybe in the 70s or something. Close. Maybe 79, 80. So let's give that a look. Let's try 79. It's just one per ring. 8-1 wind, 8-1 rings. That makes for a real simple calculation. If you guys are getting down to similar spots as me, if you can use this to your advantage and just say, you know, Zach went 8-1 in this scenario. You know, how close am I to this same exact? And you can see I'm actually able to get the drop. So with the extra ball guide and everything, you know, keeping it short, it's just going to stretch out. So there we have it. We already 1 for 1. So this is one of those tournament rounds though too, where you might want to, especially on the par 3s, you know, especially once you've made something. So I kind of just want to jump around a little bit. So let me go to just kind of look at things here. And you can see one of the things that we can do is we can turn this off to open up our span of route. And we're going to utilize the practice. You can see if this is the max line here, this might not be the greatest club situation. So maybe let's just jump back here and try a Viking, for example. You can see it just frees up some room. I can do Viking, 1 side spin. Let's go 2 side spin. Why not? It looks like it's kind of straightening out the guide this way. We're just going to do a counting game. So this is how many rings from the pin. That's what we're counting here. So that is maybe 175, 17. 175, 17. No, 178. So that's like 178 from the pin. And this is just one of those really nice things about being able to utilize practice. So if you guys haven't checked out practice yet, perfect opportunity to. So we're about 1.7. Was it like 178 from the pin? Four wind. I haven't put that. 234. Let's just try 234. You can see that's what I'm utilizing this for. It's about 232. Let's just try it, see what it looks like. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't use the ring span. That's all right. You don't technically have to. Oh, man, so we made it. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. We can do it again, though. That was the purpose of the practice, was to get this dialed to where we can hopefully make this. So that was the goal here, was to utilize that so we could have a nice clean look here. We were, like I mentioned, right around 178. So that's what we're going to try to do here. So just get that positioning very similar to what we just did. And that's what's the beauty of the practice, is to be able to do this on repeat. So that's right around the same. This time we're going to go 3. And if you guys remember, I was maybe just slightly inside. So I didn't quite go the actual value. So that's something to keep in mind. especially if you guys get in similar spots here. 2-2 might be just a little bit heavy. So with that in mind, might just come in just a hair. And the purpose of this is just to fine tune so you guys can come in and shop, and you can see just comes in just a little bit too hot that time. But you can see my alignment's perfect. So if you guys can just tinker around and really fine tune, that's what practice is used for. And I think I just got a little unlucky there. That hit the pin pretty much dead center on. And it just came in just a hair too hot. But it definitely could have went in for sure. So hopefully you guys can utilize that to your advantage, and you can just kind of tinker around and just kind of make subtle changes so you can hopefully get your guys' scores just that much lower. So what I'm going to try to do here is try to get it right around one full screen or so. Looks like right around there. That's good. I'm playing this real short. Kind of intentionally. What this is going to allow me to do, 8-5 for OD, 5 rings. We're just going to make sure that 5 rings stays on the fairway, or 6 rings, for example, is still on the fairway, and that should keep us in. So that's the strategy here. So if you guys want to follow suit and try to do similar to me, that's cool. If you don't want to, you can always go for the blast it method as well. But the goal here, and you can see we're just outside Bigfoot, which is kind of what I was shooting for. I like to get aggressive with lightning rod. This is my favorite club in the game. We're just going to do a count here. It's 10 rings, 20 rings, 30 rings. Maybe 25 rings here. Let's still pull this up just slightly. One of the things that you're going to see here, 8.5, 22.6. So, like I mentioned, very easy to get aggressive with this club, and that's why I love it. It says so much guide. And a lot of times with this pull angle, I utilize just a little inside pull, so you can see that it's just slight offset to the left. And that's what I recommend for you guys as well. This wind angle specifically, you kind of got to take a different pull angle. .22.6. We're right here. Let's just see how it pans out, guys. You can see pretty good, but it just needed just a little bit more pull angle. But you can see very close attempts. And we just needed to shift our pull angle just a tad bit more inside. That's the best, because you can see the weight was perfect. So if you guys could follow suit, and it really just comes down to kind of slight pull angle tweaks, and you should be able to definitely get that to drop. Very good opportunity there. And, you know, one of the things that I did want to talk about is some of these pins for as well. So if you guys haven't seen already, these are a lot more accessible to get. So you're going to see some really good pins. And I've started getting some of these, just by utilizing up some of my extra cash. So if you guys haven't already done that, definitely highly recommended. This isn't going to be the greatest opportunity, but let's just do it just for fun, just to see what happens. So if you guys want to follow suit and try to get this down here as far as possible, it's just kind of a cool thing to be able to utilize some of these pins, get the ball down here. And of course, utilizing the practice. If you do want to, that's one of the beauties of practice. You don't have to mess your round up, and you can just say, oh, I'll just hit this as a practice shot, and I'll just come back and do it again. And that's really one of the cool things about this whole practice format. You can see we're just trying to get this down here kind of as far as possible. So almost 400 off the tee. I was trying to get it up here to wedge range. We'll see if I made it. It looks like I did. So goal obtained, but the question is, can we do anything with this? And that's the goal, is we're going to try to get it up here to a range where it just becomes easier to make the shot. And you can see I'm keeping this ball guide well short for this wind. We're going to switch to a 10% ball. And this is saying how many rings? 22. Oh, man, that is an adjustment, let me tell you. So let's give it a go, see what happens. You can see, like I said, ball guide well short. So we're keeping this ball guide well short. And keep in mind, as I've pulled so many rings, it's kind of changing my depth as well. So I'm thinking, I might no longer be at max club. So that needs to be weighed into your decision. It's kind of more like an 80%. Let's just see what it looks like at 80. It's only 16 rings. So I'm thinking about putting some of these back on. So let's just pull back up just a ring or so, and let's just see what happens. And like I mentioned, with the whole practice concept, you can really hone in on these and be able to give yourself a really nice chance to be able to make that shot. It's really just going to take some tinkering around, and the Pro D might not be the best option for you, but I just kind of wanted to do it just so we could see. At least and that's one of the advantages to doing a practice as well. So if you guys want to mess around with the practice, after you shoot that, you can just say, no, I don't want to do this combination. And you can just kind of pull it back in. That type of thing. And if you guys didn't see, I did do this shot on the rookie division. So we're going to play this relatively similar. But this is a perfect opportunity for you guys to practice. So that's what I recommend, is I'm just going to kind of land up here. This is 3 top spin, all my side spin, that type of thing. Let me just set up right here, just to give myself a reference, right on the edge of this island here. So we're starting right on the edge of the island. We're utilizing this. It's saying 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 rings. So we'll do that in one pull. And then push up. Now let's just see what happens. This is, the magic of what they've done with this new practice. It just lets us say, this either got up on there, it didn't. You can see it's shooting off to the right a little bit. So what's this tell me? For my next version, we're going to move over a couple rings. You can see I'm about 2.5 grids right. So if we're 2.5 grids right, we're just going to use that initial, and you can also see we're going to need to utilize some topspin. So if I just put it right here for the start point, we're going to come over 2.5 grids or so. So somewhere right around there. And then we'll increase the topspin, 4.5, and just try it again. Also keep it in mind, it's a smaller wind, so maybe I just go the full 5. Smaller wind, less effect. So keep all that in mind. So let's just see how this one comes out. And this is, like I mentioned, this is just one of the great things about this new practice format, is it just lets us get this tiebreaker super high. If we would have just moved it just a little bit more right, who knows? Maybe we get the ace. So it really gets you honing in. We were able to get 17-18 with just one practice. That just shows you how vital those combinations can be. And, you know, if you have to tinker around because you don't have some of the same stuff that I have, you know, that should be easy mods for you. But, you know, we didn't use any pins on that hole, but that's another option, is you can pull out a pin there. Like, that's a perfect opportunity to. And who knows, you know, with this hole, this doesn't, not sure if they're going to let you get aggressive, but it's one of the things to consider. Is, can we go cue ball? Can we start stacking on some pins and cutting this edge off? You know, it's just something for you to be able to just kind of check. We got that one on. We got this one on. Let's just see what it looks like. Can we, I mean, it's getting dangerously close. So you can see, you know, we get real close to being able to do that shot. It's very, very close. So if I have a ball pin, I have a club pin on, I should be able to do a ball multi-stat, shouldn't I? Nah, I might not be able to do that. Yeah, so it's not letting me put that one on. This is just something for, you know, worth starting to tinker around with as you start pulling in some of these, just by utilizing, you know, up some of your game cache. If you've been collecting game cache for a while like me, and picked up some of the pin packs as well that they have put out, some really good opportunities to do some really cool things. You can see we can almost cut off this entire, so it's just one of those things that you just want to, it looks like we just have to get up here, maybe a little bit extra. I'm going to do something like this, try to get this up here as far as possible. The goal is to hopefully get a look at this lightning rod. And like I mentioned, you know, this is definitely one of my favorite clubs. And as you can see here, we got to renew our subscription. So let me just do that real quick. The way my subscription works is just a little bit different than you guys, so you see that I have to, you know, regularly do this, so apologize for the delay, but we should be back here with a good look here. And a very similar wind angle to what we did on hole 4. You can see here's max club right here. We're just going to say this is about 6-7 rings from, maybe 7 rings from max, 8 rings from max. Problem is we're gonna have to utilize this top spin. I know it. So if I want to use this shot, we're gonna have to do something along the lines of this. Or you gotta, get that tee shot up just a little bit farther. Utilize one of those pins, for example. Get that tee shot just a little bit farther. We'll go 3-6, which is 9 rings, it's saying. And keep in mind, this usually is for backspin. But keep in mind, you'll also see that I'm doing a more inside pull angle. I always do this with these wind directions. So right around 9 rings, just slight overpower. Something along the lines of this. Let's just see if we can get this one there to the hole. We got it there, so I didn't even need the power. But it just gives you a good idea of, a way for you to really get aggressive there. If you can, definitely utilize some of that practice. You can see I almost didn't even, when I go topspin there, I really didn't even have to use an inside pull angle. It still was coming in left there. So I could have just kind of went straight up since it's all that top spin and roll out to the left. All of that was kind of changing that shot up a little bit. So this is a nice better look. So hole 7. This is going to be something we can get very aggressive with. It's 20 rings for max, 22. And like I mentioned, this is one of my favorite clubs. This is going to be back up to 20. 20 rings for max, real tight on this ball guide here. Let's just go 1 full. This is a perfect opportunity to use a practice pin. That's what I would recommend if you guys are really trying to fine tune. And this was right around 20 rings for max. Like I mentioned, 5-9. And the other thing that we could do, if we really wanted to, I don't have very many of these, but we can put extra wind boosts on these to really make it that much easier to be able to hold this. So that's one of the beauties of the new algorithm. I was able to get some of these pins more accessible. So if you guys haven't seen it, they did redesign the way that they're distributing, and highly recommend taking advantage of that. So who knows when they'll change again. Just a little bit over pull there. You got to be just a little bit more careful. But as you can see, we can get in and give this hole a very good run. So hopefully you guys are able to get that one. It's definitely a nice opportunity for you guys. And this is another opportunity, and definitely one that I'm going to recommend to you guys, will be to start looking at this. So this is a ball pin. I should have some Pro D. So let's use this Xmas one. 18 wind. Is that going to be too much? I'm worried this is too much. And this is where, use those practice to your advantage, guys. Because, I may give this a good run, but if I really wanted to really focus on my scoring, probably the best way for me to do this would be with a practice. But with 18-3, just going to kind of go 18 rings and then push straight up. One of those things. And let's just see what this looks like. And like I said, utilize that practice if you need to. Oh, man. So that's going to let me reload anyway. So you can see I kind of messed that tee shot up. 18-9. And you can do a reference aim as well. if you want, you can see with where I am now in the trees here, you just kind of, you could do a reference aim. So if I, I should have sized this up a little, but if I pull the target to here, you can just kind of utilize that for your own shot. You can just do one little tinker, and just kind of shift. Oh, so we caught the tree. So you do got to be a little bit careful, and that's where, going over it with that power boost as well. You see, that was going to be a much better line. All I had to do is, man, it just clipped this last tree. If it wasn't for this tree, or if I was just right here, one grid over, I just needed to be one grid, it could have made all the difference. So keep that in mind. You should be able to get fairly aggressive. Hopefully you guys can roll this up on the green. That's the goal there. So try your best to do that. You don't have to use this guide to a T. I was just trying to give you, some starting points. This is about 40% or so.